Good morning and welcome to the Global Morning Brief for Tuesday, July 21st. Here are the major global, business, legal, and weather developments shaping the day. Our top story this morning is the latest escalation in trade tensions between the United States and Canada. President Trump has signed a new wave of tariffs on Canadian goods, imposing a 50% levy on autos, dairy products, and alcohol beginning August 19th. Canadian energy products are exempt from the new duties, keeping one of the largest areas of cross-border trade open for now. Ottawa says the tariffs violate the terms and spirit of CUSMA, the trade agreement connecting Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Prime Minister Mark Carney says his government will intensify negotiations with Washington while preparing possible countermeasures if the tariffs take effect. The automotive sector is at the center of the dispute. Vehicles and components routinely cross the border several times during production, meaning a 50% tariff could quickly increase costs for manufacturers, dealerships, and consumers in both countries. Canadian officials are considering retaliatory tariffs, including possible measures targeting American steel and other politically sensitive exports. Energy shipments remain exempt, reducing the immediate threat of disruptions to oil, natural gas, and electricity flows. Both governments now have until August 19th to negotiate an agreement, delay implementation, or prepare for a broader trade confrontation. Businesses on both sides of the border will be watching closely for changes to supply chains, production costs, and consumer prices. Our second major story is the continuing military confrontation involving the United States and Iran. The United States military confirms it has conducted a 10th consecutive night of strikes on targets in Iran. The continuing operation is increasing concern across global energy and shipping markets. Brent crude moved above $91 during intraday trading before pulling back as investors assess the possibility of further regional escalation. Approximately one-fifth of the world's oil supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz, making the narrow shipping route one of the most important energy corridors in the global economy. Any disruption, closure, or sustained military threat in the strait could affect oil supplies moving from several major Middle Eastern producers. Houthi threats against Saudi-linked shipping are also contributing to uncertainty across the region. Shipping insurance rates may rise first, followed by transportation and fuel costs. If the disruption continues, those higher costs could eventually increase inflation pressure in several major economies. Markets are now watching oil prices, tanker movements, military announcements, and any indication that regional governments are preparing direct responses. Investors will also be looking for signs that the confrontation could expand beyond its current targets. We now turn to the Gulf of Mexico, where Tropical Storm Bertha has formed. The storm is centered approximately 120 miles south of Panama City, Florida. The system is moving northwest, with outer rain bands expected to reach portions of the Florida Panhandle tonight. Forecasters currently expect the center of the storm to continue across the northern Gulf before approaching Louisiana early Thursday morning. Maximum sustained winds are currently near 45 miles per hour, but additional strengthening is possible while Bertha remains over warm Gulf waters. Storm surge levels of up to 2 feet are possible in vulnerable coastal areas, particularly where strong winds push water toward the shoreline. Residents across the northern Gulf Coast should prepare for heavy rainfall, localized flooding, rough surf, and possible changes to the projected track. Travel conditions may also deteriorate as rain bands move inland and airports adjust operations. Emergency officials are advising residents to monitor local forecasts and review storm preparations before conditions worsen. People in flood-prone areas should remain alert for rapidly changing conditions.
In other major news, social media personalities Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have been arrested in Miami by the United States Marshal Service. The brothers were taken into federal custody following an extradition request from British authorities. They appeared in federal court in Miami as the extradition process formally began. British prosecutors say the brothers face a combined 59 criminal charges connected to alleged offenses involving 7 people. The latest group of 38 charges followed the identification of 4 additional alleged victims. The accusations include alleged rape, sexual assault, human trafficking for sexual exploitation, assault causing bodily harm, and offenses involving indecent or extreme images. The allegations are said to involve events between 2010 and 2017. Andrew Tate faces the majority of the newly announced charges, while Tristan Tate also faces allegations including rape, sexual assault, and facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. Both brothers deny all allegations and maintain that they are innocent. Their attorney says they will fight extradition and has described the case as politically motivated. The extradition hearing will not determine whether the brothers are guilty or innocent of the criminal allegations. Instead, a federal judge will examine whether the British request satisfies the legal requirements of the extradition agreement between the United States and the United Kingdom. That examination may include whether the alleged conduct would also be considered criminal under United States law and whether British authorities have provided sufficient evidence for the extradition process to continue. If the judge approves the request, the final decision on surrendering the brothers to British authorities would move to the United States Secretary of State. The brothers are expected to remain in federal detention while the court considers the request. Their next hearing is scheduled for July 27th. The Miami arrests add another major chapter to a legal dispute that has already crossed several jurisdictions. The brothers have also faced separate criminal proceedings and investigations in Romania, where they have denied accusations involving organized crime, trafficking, and sexual offenses. The Romanian proceedings are separate from the British extradition case. British authorities had previously pursued allegations connected to 3 alleged victims. The newly announced charges expand the British case to include 4 additional alleged victims. The case is expected to receive intense international attention because of Andrew Tate's large online following and the serious nature of the allegations. It is important to note that the charges remain allegations, and the brothers have not been convicted in connection with the British case. Turning now to the economic calendar, General Motors reports earnings at 6:30 Eastern. Investors will be watching vehicle sales, production costs, electric vehicle spending, and any guidance related to the new Canadian tariffs. The ADP employment report follows at 8:15 Eastern and may provide an early indication of private sector hiring conditions. Charles Schwab and Ally Financial also report before the market opens. Their results may offer further information about consumer credit, deposits, interest income, and investor activity. The Energy Information Administration releases its weekly oil inventory report at 10:30 Eastern. That report will receive additional attention as traders assess whether domestic American inventories can help offset concerns about Middle Eastern supply disruptions. New Zealand's second quarter inflation report came in hotter than expected overnight. The New Zealand dollar strengthened following the release as traders reconsidered the outlook for interest rates. Asian markets are mixed, with energy shares receiving support from higher oil prices, while transportation and manufacturing companies face increased cost concerns. Here is the morning weather sweep. Pensacola is preparing for tropical rain bands associated with Bertha. Kingston reaches approximately 93 degrees with breezy conditions and the possibility of brief afternoon showers. London continues to experience an extended dry period, with authorities monitoring water conditions and fire risk. New York remains hot and humid, with evening thunderstorms capable of producing heavy rain and travel delays.